Well, good evening, everybody. I'm excited to announce that this is our guest call, which is I've got our leaders Q&A. So I'm so excited that four leaders have committed to popping on the call to give us their gold and answer some questions. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, and if each leader, so I've got John here, I've got Julia, I've got Gabi and Donna. So I'd just like to go through each of you and just ask if you could introduce yourself, a little bit about yourself, and also the year you joined Mannatech and the leadership level that you have attained. So we'll start with you, John. Thank you.
Oh, excellent. Well, that was quick. Excellent. Well, I'm so happy to be here, guys, with all of you, with the team, the best team in the world. And yeah, so my name is John Green. I'm originally born in South America, in a country where they're having lots of strife now, and we'll pray for that place in Chile. And but I've been living here in Australia all my life, so that's why the Aussie language. And yeah, I joined Mannatech about 3 years ago, and it was through meeting up with Rod and Cheryl Gilchrist, and also meeting up with Gabi, my leaders, and it was so fantastic that time we met up. And Rod just shared with me about this great opportunity, and it was through that obviously, you know, I looked at it very carefully with the senior, and we said yes. And ever since then, we've just been playing around and just growing, and so we're very excited with what's happening with Mannatech, and we're excited with how we're building it and just seeing the team grow. I just want to say thanks to Gabi and to Rod for all their hard work and their help as leaders. And so that's where I come from. That's what we're doing at the moment, and we're just building it day by day.
Excellent, John. Thank you so much. So we'll go to Julia now.
All right, yeah. Yes, my name is Julia Corradetti. I've been involved with Mannatech since 2008. I have a kind of a funny way of joining and ending up in the Rod Gilchrist team. I was initially told about Mannatech by one of Sharon Whiteman's team, but I didn't make a decision then. I went to Western Australia, and I thought, I didn't join up straight away, but I thought, oh, well, I'd like to look more into this product because I had a few challenges, and I thought, well, maybe it would work because it seemed different to everything else I'd looked at. So I just saw somebody who had anything to do with Mannatech, and a lady's name came up. So I visited her, and she was a health practitioner herself anyway, so that was good. And I managed to land myself in Rod Gilchrist's team, which I'm really happy and excited about because I just see something so dynamic in Rod's leadership, and just something I just love. I remember I remember one thing, the first time I met Rod was really interesting too. And I was in Western Australia, and I wanted to go to a Mannatech meeting. I was a bit like you, Rachel. I'd never been to one. And I thought, oh, I'd love to see what this is all about. So I paid $900 to go to the nearest Mannatech meeting, which was in Adelaide. And Rod was speaking. And in the end, I just followed him down the stairs and introduced myself. And he was on his way back to Queensland to preach the next day. So there was, you know, there was very little time. But just remember being so impressed by a man who wanted to make a difference through Mannatech, and being a man of God himself at the same time. And yeah, so that was exciting. So I'm just grateful to be able to be part of this business because I see so much good in it, and it's up, you know, and it's just lovely to be able to tell people about it so that they can see some good and they can get the good from it. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, well, thank you, Julia. Donna, would you like to share now?
Sure. So, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So, I got into Mannatech, it was 2000 and, gosh, I can't remember. It was 2006, I think, 2007. I hadn't been in Australia that long, and I actually had a friend there was a medical nurse that was telling me about this opportunity. At the time, my marriage had just fallen apart, and I really wasn't in a state to really take on anything more and we were doing, at the time, we were doing a Christian course called Living Streams, and we had to go down to she'd been insisting that I listen to this stuff. And we ended up going, back then we'd have all these CDs that we shouldn't have probably been handing out, but they were great and they worked. And we played it in the car. And when I heard of the company and just the studies they had done and what happened to these rats with the spacemen, and it's like every light bulb in my mind went off. And so from that point of view, back then I just went out and built the business to an executive director, just telling people, because I was so passionate about, especially because there were so many people that were unwell around me at the time. So that's a different, executive director was different back then to the way they've got it now. But yeah, so that's how my journey begun. Didn't really know Rod personally at that level. That came later in my journey. So yeah, that's how I began, and I just loved the company. Sam Castor was the visionary back then, because of course he was the founder, and it was just all based in truth and vision. And I thought, how could you go wrong being part of something like this? Yeah, that's how it began for me.
Great, thank you, Donna. Thank you. And Gabi. Thank you, Gabi.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. So I was introduced to Mannatech almost 10 years ago. It'll be February next year. So I've been using the products for that long with the family. And then during that time, I've always been a mum. Like, I'm a mum of 4 children. I've been in the corporate world, always working my way up. And then the last 2 years, Rod took me under his wing and believed in what I was doing. And he helped me within that 2-year period to get to Gold Executive Director, which has been life-changing for me. And it's just given me that opportunity to work with my team and really reach out and make a difference with other people. So I think always being career focused and being in that corporate world has been wonderful. But when you get to that point where you know you can do so much more with your life and impact so many more people and make a difference in their life, as well as the children fighting child malnutrition, I just think that's made a huge difference. So Rod gave me that opportunity to go from full-time to part-time, to sacking my boss, and now I'm doing things because I'm doing it my way, and it's all about choice. So I think that's been really cool. And yeah, so I think Rod's had a big impact on everyone in our team. I think we're really blessed to have him as our upline presidential with Cheryl.
Yeah, that's great. Well, thank you, everybody, for sharing and letting the team know, because as you know, this is being recorded. So for new associates coming on in the future, they're going to get to meet you and know a little bit more about your story and how you've been in Mannatech and what it means to you. So what I'm going to do now, leaders, is I've got some questions. You have the questions. And I'm just going to not one person start at the beginning each time, because you'll get the easy answer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask each of you in a different order the question. Now the idea is that if the person before you has sort of answered your answer, you've got to come up with another one. Okay, so that's why I'm going to shift who goes first each time. So John, you got first that time, and I know it was only introduction, so that was easy. Just reverse it. I'm going to hand it to Gabi for question number 1. So question number 1 is, what is the one thing and one thing only that you have found to coach a brand new associate to do in the next week to prepare them for success?
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of things you could say here, but if I pinpoint it to one, I think it's really important to prepare your associate to invest in themselves, to gain the confidence by reading and listening to the best, like Eric Worre and Richard Bliss-Brooke.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. All right, and so I'm reversing the order. Donna, what would be the one thing that you would tell your new associate to guarantee success for them?
That you have to believe in what you're doing, and you have to do it with energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah. And I think when we've all joined, we all have that natural enthusiasm and excitement as we're going forward anyway. So to really harness that as well. Brilliant, brilliant. And Julia, what would you have coach your brand new associate in? Julia, you're muted, darling. If you could unmute from your end. Thank you. Yeah.
I don't know how much volume's coming through here. Anyway, yeah, well, it's a good question, isn't it? What would you do, you know, if it was one thing? So I had to really think about that one. And I'd like them to train on the success system, give them something to go on at their own pace. But I'd also like them to ask them some specific questions in that why would they like to reach people and why are they doing this to help them reach their why goals. So, you know, they will have specific reasons why they join Mannatech. And I think if you can uncover that, then that's probably going to help them a lot too.
Yeah.
And if they can really specifically know why they're going to be in this. So you can be a bit more pointed when you meet them every time. Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. And John, what's your strategy?
Well, because I've already, let's say, I've already spoken to that associate. I've already spoken to about about Mannatech. They've joined. It's the first week. The first thing I would say, let's get a meeting going. I would really, you want to start with success, and I would just encourage them to just bring a few friends and get their first meeting in that first week, and that could be a little bit, you know, a little bit of a big thing for them, but just to be with them and just to show them that they can do it, and to get them on a quick start, and basically, and if they say, look, I don't know who to invite, well, you know, there's so many ways that you can help them to do that. But that's the first thing that I would do. Tell them to have our first meeting in the next 3 or 4 days, and I will be there with them to present that for them. And yeah, that's the thing. Yeah.
Brilliant, brilliant. And I did only ask you all just to bring one thing. And I know that you probably all coach those whole lot of things to your new associates going forward in their first week. And so I just love we're talking about investing in themselves, their own personal development. Julia brought the success system and as a training platform to get them into that and actually understanding their why and concreting their why, so you can always drag them back to motivation. And combining what John said and Donna said, that if we can actually grab their excitement and enthusiasm and bring a meeting together and have a launch meeting or a launch event for them, and the upline actually run that for you, you can actually learn and grow confidence in that area. So, and so I'm sure we coach all our new associates with that whole big picture. But if there's something that you're not trying with your team, or as you're building your team, there's some gold there for us all. All right, so we're going to switch it around for number 2. So I might start with Donna on number 2, and I'm just going to try and document this so I don't favour anybody. So number 2, the question is, Donna.
Yes.
Is the one question you'd ask me to bounce me or motivate me back into action?
I would, well, with that, I'd take you back to the original conversation about why you joined the company. And what was that driving motivator? That, because it's not about taking the products, we've all got a reason why. And so when we identify with each person what it is that really motivates them to do this, then we have to remind them of why they started and get them back into their own. It's not about us or them building it for us. It's about why you're here and what was it that motivated you to begin here, and what is it that's pretty much your why, and the thing that really drives you. I'd take them straight back to that and make them relive it, to get back that, and you know, that drive to get them back out there to build this business for what they wanted it for.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. All right. And so we'll go to Julia now.
Okay. Well, that sounds very much how what I would do. I would say, what is the one, I'd ask them a question. I would say, what is the one thing that would make you refocus on your business? Just ask them a one question. And I would, you know, give them some time to think about that one thing. I know it would mean that one thing probably means more to them about their business than anything else. So, yeah, trying to uncover that one thing that would help them to refocus, would help you for refocus on your business.
Yeah, yeah.
Your passion.
And Gabi?
Yeah, look, everything that everyone said has been amazing and it's all true. And I think a lot of people in this business will buy and build in with their emotions. So I would be going back and saying to them, how would you feel if nothing has changed in the last 12 months and you still feel in the same way? So how would you feel in 12 months' time if nothing's changed? That's what I would be going back to, because I know people, you know, feel the hurt, they feel the pain of financial burden or not feeling well, and to go back and say, well, if I don't change things now, I'm going to have the same old vicious circle. Or if I make a change and impact my life and others now, that's going to be huge for your future.
Yeah,
very good.
That's good. Yeah, thanks, Gabi. And John,
Yeah, well, I would say, what is holding you back? I would literally just say, hey, listen, what's holding you back? What is it? Is it fear? Is it maybe you don't know how to do the presentation? Maybe you lack a little bit more knowledge of the products. Is it not knowing what to say to people? I would really want to find out what is it that they're fearing. You know, what's holding them back, and then from there we can work on that. And I guess that's also part of knowing. They're going to tell me their why and all that, but more specifically, you know, there's something there that's just not helping them to move forward. And I would answer that anyway. What's holding you back?
Wow, that's great, guys. That's huge, because essentially, you know, sometimes I forget my why. You know, you sort of get in it and you know what you're supposed to be doing, and the why is a bigger thing, and sometimes I forget it. So that's great if my leader came to me and go, well, what's your why? You know, and I love, Gabi, with what you're saying there as well, is you know, you're not going to get different results doing the same thing. You know, what's your pain point in your life of why you joined and wanted to change, to revisit that, and revisit the things you want different for your life, and that this is a vehicle that can do that for you. And John, that's really powerful too, because we really need to look at ourselves, because there are things that are holding us back, and it could just be simple that you're not confident to do a presentation. That the upline associate can actually, upline enroller can just do a little bit of extra work with you in that area, but you may not realise that little hurdle has just walked us, you know, for the whole journey, you know. So,
and Rachel, with what John had said, like, I think, and a good way to sort of come back on that is, other than, you know, being not confident in sharing presentations, or other than not having the money right now, what else is stopping you from getting started right now? So it's just sort of eliminating and those barriers. And I think using that language really helps when you're sort of breaking things down.
That's right. Yep.
Well, I'd also like to say, Rachel, you made a comment just then, which I think is very interesting. It's called the pain point. And I think that's a very interesting comment, because it's normally a decision is made when we're at a point of pain. So we can have buyers in heat and buyers who aren't quite there yet, or, you know, want to join something. But when the pain's big enough, like you had, Michael, I was a solo parent that, you know, had limited money and just could never see my way out, and whatever anyone else has got. But there was a very big pain point in my life, and I think it's revisiting that. And I think that's a good point, a very good point, personally.
Yeah.
And that relationship that you have with your upline enroller, that, you know, Donna knows my story with Mike, and I know some of you know that as well. And that's the part of the relationship that you have with your upline enroller, that personal parts of your life that they can draw on to motivate you again, because you actually want something different. You just need that little bit of more motivation for that week or that time.
Encouragement.
Yeah, and that you're trusted in that space, you know, as well. So it's a great thing there. Thank you, guys. Heaps of gold there. All right, question 3. I'm just going to think I don't want to get you all out of order. If you feel unfair that you're getting the last question, just let me know. So we might start with Julia on question 3. I've lost my question. So what's the one question you'd ask someone that would open them up to take a look at what we do?
I would ask them how their year has been.
How a year.
Yes. Because sometimes people just have great lives, and maybe if, they reflect on how their year has been, they'll come up with something about, something that'll have a shortfall in their life. Might be finances, health, or time freedom. And usually an MLM business can solve that, and our business can definitely solve that. So I'd set aside a bit of listening. It would make me listen and just say, well, how's your year been, especially at the end of the year? So, yeah, that's what I'd ask.
That's excellent. Great. Thanks. All right, John, what would you ask? So the question is, what's the one question you'd ask someone that would open them up to take a look at what we do?
Who's that for?
John, you.
Oh, okay. I was just sorry. Okay. Well, actually, I would do it a little bit different. Before even I ask it, I've learned one of the things is that I would share my story first with people. Mm-hmm. Before I would ask a question. First, share my story, or share the story of my son, for example, because he's been taking Mannatech, right? My son's autistic. And I would share the story first, and then invite the people to see what I'm taking and how that has brought a solution for us. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't talk so much about the company. I wouldn't talk so much about the company itself. I would just look at, I would share the story of a product that has been helping me, right? Ambertoes or any of the products. And without them, for example, the Mana Bears and the Plus and all that, and the Omega-3. And then out of that story, I would share with them the results out of that. And through that, I would then tell them that there was a solution for us as a family, for him, and also for us as a family with what we're taking, and how that has solved the problem. And out of that, I found out that by sharing that, people are more interested to find out, wow, that's excellent. And then automatically they're going to ask, well, what is it? What have you been taking? And I tell them, oh, look, it's this, it's that. And then, of course, then I share with them where they can get it from, But, yeah, instead of just going directly for a question, I've learned that by sharing your story, people are more open to hear your story, and then they can connect better. Instead of being a hard sale, it's telling the story. Yes.
Yeah, because this is a hard one, because you're only allowed to share one thing. Because I know you would all probably do what each of you are saying, but you're only allowed to say one thing. So we might go to you, Gabi. Gabi, what's the one question, or what's the one question you'd ask someone that would make them open them up to take a look?
Sure. So at first, I guess I would look for any opportunity and solution when talking with a person. I'll just find their hot button first. So as an example, today I spoke with someone in the work environment, and she was talking about how she wasn't really happy in the job. And I said, so you've just shared with me that you hate working full time, that dreaded Monday morning feeling, imagine what that would feel like if it went away. And what if I had a solution for that? If I give you some information about it, would you look at it? And I take it from that angle. I just try and find their hot button. Mm-hmm. And I think if you listen to people and find out what triggers them, that really helps. And I think we need to learn to be better listeners, and that makes the difference.
Very good. All right, thank you. And Donna?
Rachel, what was the question again?
The question is, what's the one question you'd ask someone that would open them up to take a look at what we do?
I think I'd ask them, what do you think your purpose is?
Okay.
That's probably where I'd begin my conversation.
Yeah. Can you just flesh that out, like with an example?
Well, I suppose even today in the office, we were having a talk, and I've got some younger girls who are in the sales team, and I just said, so they were just talking about stuff, and I was sharing some things about, Mannatech and a few other things actually. And I said, so what do you girls think your purpose is? So what are you trying to achieve? What is it that you want? If you were to write down a goal, where you're trying to head, where do you want to go? And it just sent them into a complete confusion. And so I think sometimes when you get people into that state, it makes them really identify what they're doing. This woman, and then this girl says, well, I don't really like real estate and I really want to be here. And it's like, well, then what do you want to be doing? And what do you want to achieve? And how, and what would you need to do to make that happen? And what sort of finance would you need to create? This is sort of how the conversation went today. But it just all became through one question. So what do you think your purpose is? And then I explained, don't think feeling confused and bewildered by not knowing that is a bad thing. It actually sends you on a journey of really trying to work out, why am I here and what am I doing?
Yeah,
And what are my goals and how do I achieve them? And then maybe once you've identified that, we can work out how we get there.
yeah. Oh, that's fantastic, because you've just mentioned so many things. But when you actually identify people's purpose, their hot button, those types of things, you're actually pulling people to their destiny a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they've got blinkers on, or their ears are covered. That they have never. And then someone comes up, and I almost could use the word life coach on all of you. Comes up to and asks that question, and just halts their life. And then a lot of life coaches do that type of work with people. But then all of a sudden, you also have an opportunity in your hand that you can actually give them a solution of health, wealth, and purpose in Mannatech. So brilliant. And yep, and I think John sharing the story is so powerful, and the solutions that you've found, and how's your year been? It's a great way for people to reflect on the good, bad, and the ugly. And so Mannatech has the solutions of health, wealth, and purpose again, and there's those areas. And I think going back to what Gabi said initially as well, was that the network marketing industry is a self-development course. Because coming into this and identifying that you'd want to work in one of these businesses anyway, you have to want something more than what the rat race offers, and you have to think differently. So it's a great way to open all of yourself up for more personal development.
Yeah.
All right, going on. So question 4, and I hope I'm not going to get out of order here again, so we might start with Gabi on this one. Question 4, thinking back to your first year, if you could go back and talk to yourself, what would you tell yourself to do differently?
I think it's really important to focus on you and what you really want, and stop worrying about what other people think. And I think I'm really big on when they zig, you zag, and dare to be different. I just think, just do what you want. Don't worry about what other people think of what you want to do, because if you believe in yourself enough, nothing will stop or reflect. Because if you worry about what other people think, you wouldn't get out of bed. So I just think you just need to really be strong on that focus and what you really want, and just be different. I mean, Mannatech is different. A lot of people don't get what we do, but once you're drawn into it, it's pretty unreal, and you won't leave in it anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
No, that's really cool. So you would tell yourself not to worry about what people think, Gabi, just go.
Yeah, I think that's really important, because if we do, we won't do what we really want. And people get that fear factor in and worry about what other people think. But if you just find that why and get excited and build that passion from there, you'll be unstoppable.
Okay, that's gutsy. That's really gutsy, because in the first year, you're still navigating it, So to go back and say that to your first year self, and like I'm wanting to apply it in my first year, like okay, just don't worry about what anybody thinks. Okay, so
it's hard, because I had people, Rachel, that would say, why would you leave the corporate world and take away that really good 6-figure income to do Mannatech? And you do question yourself, and you need to not have doubt. You need to know why you made that decision and think of the future. So you can't worry about what other people think. You have to do what feels right for you and your family.
Yeah, gutsy, Gabi. All right, Julia, what would you tell me?
No, I'm just listening to all the gold here. It's so good. No, that's good, Gabi. I would have to agree with that one. I
Yeah.
would say the same thing. I would say the same thing, but to add to it, I would believe in myself, and I would believe in the people that are with me. Try and believe in them more, and not believe in the negative. Don't believe in the negative that gets thrown at you. Just disregard it. Just say no. It's water off a duck's back, and just disregard it and have your vision, your goals so out there and so important that all the negativity just doesn't rate.
Wow.
And it doesn't. It really, really doesn't.
Yeah.
End of story.
All right, and we go to you, Donna. Let's go to you, Donna. What would you tell your first year again?
Be consistent on a daily basis and set your intention.
So be consistent on a daily basis and what?
Set your intention.
Set your intention. Tell us a bit more about that.
Okay, well, I suppose it's something that I've experienced in an experience I've had recently, which I just think, gee, this is just so powerful, because so often we think we have to work harder, but actually there's universal laws that govern everything. And so it's like write the vision down. It just happens when you write something down. And I've just had an experience at work where I wrote down my intention because I have some financial goals for a 2-year plan. And all of a sudden it's just coming to me because it's the vision's written down and I believe I'm going to achieve it. And the intention's clear and I'm consistent with it daily. And it's just explosive. And so looking back, if you just write the intention down, how much you want to earn a year, whatever it might be consistent daily with your follow-up, ringing people and just prospecting, you just can't fail. That's it. That's what I would have been more manic in the beginning.
Okay, wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And John, what would you tell yourself back in the first year?
Well, everyone's given such great answers there, but I would also, if I would have, first year, I would have thought a little bit more. I was talking to someone the other day, and they were sharing with me saying, you know what, if you learn the art of sales, and you learn truly the art of sale, you're going to be able to be very successful in life, because we're selling ourselves all the time, as we present ourselves to people. Sales is everywhere, and I think I would have studied that initially much more. I'm doing heaps of that now. Other things like script writing and online marketing, I've been doing a lot of study on that, and now finally getting the gist of that, because there's so much information there and there's so much information overload, and really just to find out, okay, we've got a great product, we've got a great company. How can I move this in a rapid way? How can we grow it rapidly? And I love online marketing anyway, so that's my area. And and I've just come back to step number 1 with more material that I'm learning right now. And but that's the first thing I would have started straight off from the bat. Apart from the meetings, apart from everything else we've been doing, which is great. I would say, man, master sales. And when you master sales, there are 7 steps for that. When you master it, then you can make it conversational. You can make it so natural, and there's no limit, and the rewards are awesome. So, and I'm glad about that. So, that's what I would do anyway.
All right, John, and are you reading somebody's work on the art of sales?
Oh yeah, I mean, especially in the area of Grant Cardone is very good. Grant Cardone.
Grant Cardone.
Yeah,
He's great in America. And really, Grant Cardone, he's got this philosophy, and I love it. And I'm learning everything I can. And he says, don't compete, but dominate. And competing is it's not good to compete. We have to learn to dominate, and the way to dominate is by exposing yourself, because people are going to follow people. They don't just follow, unless you're a huge brand like Coca-Cola, McDonald's, they're huge brands. But when starting a business, people are going to follow people. And once they follow people, you're going to develop yourself, and you're just going to dominate, and you're going to give value to people, valuable content, teach them, train them, get to know your audience, and then they will follow you. And then once they start following you, they'll find out what you do. And then when they find out what you do, many of them will come and join you. So, but there is a system for that. There's a way to do that. And that's what's sometimes it's taken me a bit longer than I thought, but finally I've got it. And so in the next 3 months, we're going to see big changes, much more changes. But yeah, I think for me, sales would be the number one thing. And I was talking with Doug Martin, Gabi, and Doug's been on sales for so many years. It's been very successful. And we always talk about Mannatech and how we can take it forward. So we're working very, very strong, hours and hours, on sometimes till 1 or 2 in the morning, just learning a lot. So anyway, but that's my part.
That's really cool, because what I've heard from you guys, that you would tell yourself again in your first year of your business, is to actually learn the art of sales here. But there's a huge emphasis on your identity of the belief of the decision that you have made to join a network marketing company. And so, some people just join for the product and play along for a little while. But for real business builders, they really have to know that they're going to, like Gabi's, like yourself, stepping out of a corporate environment into this environment is a big business decision. It's a big financial decision. And so owning that decision and owning your belief in and your ability to do it, and then obviously growing that ability through learning great things like the art of sales and things like that, that actually feels quite a step for me, because I think when you come with those decisions, you actually come with posturing as well. And that's talked a lot about in the training modules, about posturing. And I know that, Gabi, your posturing is powerful. Donna, John, and Julia, all of your posturing is like, this is just a given. This company is great, But us in our first year, we're still just learning to posture, even on our decision that we made the right decision, and then to posture on the products that we're still learning, and to posture on how to language the business opportunity. We're sort of quivering on these things in our first year. So if we can actually hear what you guys have said and go, okay, they're talking to their first year self to really get this there, what difference our journeys would be going forward to where they are now, and that's what I want about this leaders call, that you guys are going to give me the gold. And although I now feel like I'm really stretched with all those points you just told me as well, but if I can own any of that now in my first early years, then we can just all go forward together more powerfully. So that was a big one, guys. I'm hot with this one. So all right, so
Lovely.
has anybody else got any questions they want to ask the leaders while they're here? Because I'll go on to our last question for the night, if anybody wants to ask the leaders a question. No, I think they're all drinking it all in as well. So the last question I've got tonight, and that's going to be good timing, is what's one thing you can leave with us tonight that will inspire us to keep building our asset empires? And I'm going to start with you, Donna.
Let me think about that one. How to
inspire us to keep building our businesses.
I just think, just from my experience in my own life of late, that if you, to inspire you how, to build your assets. So we're talking about an asset that we can leave a legacy, we can will it to our children, we can do whatever to our grandchildren. You just need to be very clear on what it is you want, the amount you want, and then break it down into how do I achieve that. But if you're really serious about that figure, nothing will stop you. Nothing. So I would write it down in front of myself and have it before me every day on a small card, in my wallet.
Yeah.
This is why I'm doing every day what I'm doing, as a reminder that this is, this is the amount I want to achieve. To achieve it, I have to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm out here today to achieve it, to make my vision real and make that happen. Because it won't happen if you don't. It just won't.
No, you'll forget. Yeah. Brilliant. All
You'll
right.
lose focus.
John, what will you leave with us to inspire us to build our asset empires?
All right. This is the title of my new ebook that's coming out, and I would just say to all of us, to myself first, and to all of us, stop stopping yourself. Stop stopping yourself. In other words, it's easy for that to happen because of circumstances and things that are happening in life. But I've thought about the title, and it's coming out very soon, so I'll let you guys know. But it's I would say, hey guys, let's stop stopping ourselves. Let's just press on. We're all diamonds. We're all, presidential quality. We're all crowned presidential quality, and let's just be fired up for this couple of next months and for the convention that's coming up. Do everything you can in these 3 months. I'm gearing up for the next 3 months to do everything I can to be at the convention and to do as much as I can. But yeah, that's what I would say to all of us, to encourage us all.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. And we'll go across to Julia.
Yeah, sure. I've actually written down all my answers, so I spent a bit of time this afternoon, and I thought it was very important that I got it down. No, that's excellent. I love all these answers. I think they're really, really good. I just feel my biggest area has been in the area of belief, because it's such a huge thing we're believing for, and we're going to get, what we're trying to get for ourselves. It's huge. And so sometimes the negative comes along. So that's just believe in the good in this business. There's heaps of good in this business, and we want to see that happen. So yeah, believe in the good. And everyone knows that I love M5M because I believe that we're building more for. We're not. If your business has to be building more for just than yourself, and good things for yourself. I believe you're building for a legacy as well, and people are attracted to that. There's a certain amount of people that are very attracted to helping other people, and that's more so than any time ever before, I think. So believe in the good in this business, and I'll let people be attracted to that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Beautiful.
I think, could I just expand on that? I just think, I think one thing people are really wanting more than anything is like a relationship, and they want authenticity and enthusiasm. I think they all go together. So when you're enthusiastic about what you're doing, you have this authenticity that accompanies it, and you care enough about them. It's a given. It's just a given. It's just a spiritual experience for them that they have with you, and they either feel it or they don't. So every time we're dealing with people, we come into initially it's the logical side of our brain, which is sort of kicking in. But once you build that trust, that authenticity, they see the enthusiasm and your drive. You tap into what you talked about, Gabi, is that emotional aspect of their life, which is the decision-making part of their life. And so there's steps to that. And if you present it right and you really are coming from that place, yes, we all want the end product. I want to be running around 20 hours a week doing something, getting no financial reward. I don't. So that's involved, but that can't be the driving force in my life. But that's the result of my driving force. And so if you have those other aspects in your life, people are drawn to you because of it. And they know you can't make people believe something you're not. You either are or you're not. You either draw them to yourself or you don't. And they believe you with what you say because you're so passionate, you believe in what you're doing, you have this passion for it, you love them, you care about them, they've got health issues, even if they're in a financial, we've all been in a financial, where we've had not enough money, and it's a terrible place. It's an absolute terrible place. And so I think there's so many things we can offer here, but you have to be the real deal.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Donna. And Gabi. Thank you.
I know you said one thing, but mine's like a little paragraph summary. I think that I feel like people will connect with. I think when the going gets tough, you've got to crack through that negative mindset. You've got to stop feeling sorry for yourself. You've got to connect with like-minded people that want what you want and build those teams with like-minded, strong people. You've got to be real. You've got to be passionate. And you've got to share your story and be grateful for everything you have in life and stay close to your upline and never, ever give up, because when you give up, that's when you fail. If you keep going and you get all that support and be honest and transparent with your team and your upline, you will succeed. You just have to be consistent and persistent and believe. Okay?
What's that saying? Winners never quit and quitters never win.
Yeah,
that's exactly it, Donna.
That was well said, Gabi.
Thank you, Donna.
Well, I think we've all had a feast tonight, and I just want to thank the leaders for coming on again for our Q&A call. And it's greatly appreciated that you would spend the time. That's right, and I'll give you a clap as well. Thank you again. As you know, this call is recorded for the teams to share so that we can all learn from the leaders going forward. So thank you for closing out 2019, and we're looking forward to a great 2020. As John has said, let's all get to the conference in February as well, and join together face to face, which will be even better. So thank you for your time tonight, and God bless.
And thank you, Rachel. Just before everybody goes,
thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
That was very good.
That was great.
Night,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good night.
Anyway, Rachel, while you're still online, thank you so much for organising that, because that's a lot of effort.